From Montgomery to Hale, Greene County and Paris, Portia taking on the black belt, and she ain't scared. Marengo County, something county, weird cops and Barbara. Interviewing everybody, sister, brothers, and mamas. It's Portia.
Hi, this is Portia from Portia Takes on the Black Belt. We are live here in Greensboro, Alabama, getting ready to go into the courthouse to talk with the first African-American probate judge for Hale County, Judge Arthur Crawford. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. I'll be back. All right, we're live here with Judge Crawford. Finally got the judge on the show. How you doing, Judge?
I'm doing great, Portia.
All right, so you can relax. It's going to be real quick, you know, whatever. So tell us exactly what made you wake up one morning and say, I want to be probate judge of Hale County.
Okay. You know, it's not that simple, and I really didn't just wake up and decide that. It was a long process after I retired and returned home in 2001. Mm-hmm. And seeing the issues in which everyone looks around and still see today because the county's broke.
Wow.
Things not being done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So after several years of going through that and attempting to work with the probate judge and the county commissioner, seeing that rotating or changing out the county commission was not the issue.
Okay.
The issue was at the head, which was the probate judge. So attempting to work with the probate judge and address issues with the probate judge and the county commission working together, it still was a void because the probate judge was not willing to work with the county commission.
All right. So knowing all those things and what battle you had ahead, tell us what happened in that process.
Well, I first ran in 2006, in which I was unsuccessful, and your dad had a lot to do with that during that time frame. And after not being successful, I took a job, went overseas,
okay,
and returned back, and then decided in 2012 to run again. And in that process, the election law had changed where within 30 days of an election and your financial filing, you had to start filing weekly. Mm-hmm. We did not catch that, and we were still filing monthly. So
under the old law.
Under the old law.
Right.
So after going into the runoff and beating the incumbent, then they filed a protest against the elections, and I failed to follow the filing laws, in which we did. And we didn't dispute that, but then we showed all the reports, showed it was no different with filing the monthly, is we filed the weekly. Because all of the weekly was a composite of what the monthly was. and so it was in the hands of the local party, and they appointed a special committee, and they voted to disqualify me.
Wow.
So we appealed that to the state, went to the state, and we won. And then naturally they appealed it to the circuit court in Montgomery, and they won. And Judge Price ruled against me, and not only just ruled against me, he ruled that I would be permanently removed off of
the ballot.
The ballot.
Wow.
Right. If he had not ruled permanently within 30 days, then we could have
been on.
Right.
Right.
And so when he did that, the people were just as upset as I was with the process. So the people really said, no, they're not going to steal our vote. We hit the ground running, and we ran a write-in campaign. And the question is still asked of me today by my peers, as fellow probate judges, and primarily the Republicans, how
did you do it?
How did you do it? And I told them, the thing is, that what I had observed when one attempted to do a write-in, it was a secret. It was no secret with us. We ran the same campaign
that you did
write-in we did before, and so we were very successful.
Very, very successful. All right. So after you get into office and you got here, and what did you discover?
Well, after getting here, you discover that you have some things that have been put in place to restrict and restrain you. It's not as clear-cut as you thought it would be. The incumbent in which I defeated, he retired early, left the office open without notification to the governor, to the senator, or to myself that he had done so.
Wow. So
when we learned of that, I contacted Senator Singleton, and he got with the governor, and the governor appointed me into office early, 9 days
before you were due.
Before I was due. There to hinder any progress. and contracts had been awarded to ensure that myself, Northern County Commission, could terminate these personnel without violating contract.
Wow.
So we went through that with all the legal advice and with the Association of County Commission, Association of Probate Judges, how to deal with and address the issues. And some we just couldn't avoid. We had to take action, and there are some litigations still pending on some of those cases.
Wow. What? And let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Can you explain to people what is it that you do to go fix a road on your street? Like, can you explain that so people can understand exactly what that process is?
I was part of my campaign because we knew the status of the roads. And when I say we don't know the status of the bridges, because you can't really see the bridges. And after coming on board and understanding what the county budget was, because the false perception that the county had a $10 million budget, to find out we only have a $6 million budget.
Wow.
But we were spending as if we had a $10 million budget.
Wow.
So the county, you know what a deficit is, we're in a deficit because we're spending more than what we had coming in.
Right.
The income for the county is based off titles and fees. That's it. That's the only fund you got except for the 7-cent gas tax, which goes for roads in which you address. Now the question that you propose. So the roads is already behind the condition of the roads. And what the county commission now was faced with, as well as throughout the state and with the county commission association, was trying to generate more funds where to do the best we could with what we had, and that's patching. We cannot afford, and still cannot afford, to completely, we say, middling up a road and repave it. It's just not there. The county is still operating off of, again, the 7-cent gas tax, which has been in place for over 25 years.
Wow.
So 25 years ago, what the county was able to do with that, you can't do it now. Can't do it now. Although we are a distressed county, and that's the bottom and lowest you can go, there are still, in order for us to get a grant, it requires a 20% match. And when you're broke, you can't match anything. So, you know, resident people would come to me, what about this grant, what about this grant? And when you talk about grants for roads, that's not going to be regular county roads. It will be industrial type roads to the waterways, to the locks or dam or something. And still, when it comes down to it, in the process of it, the AirDoc doesn't approve any longer for federal projects matching. Not matching, at kind. Okay, in kind. You have to have the match. They no longer accept in kind.
Wow.
And we pursued that twice, and we get to that point where you have to commit, and we have to pull out.
Okay.
It's a statewide issue, and through the County Commission Association, we tried to get the governor to allocate some of the Gulf Corps funds for roads, and the legislature during the last legislative session wasn't able to do that. We're still hopeful going into legislative session here in February of 2017 that will be a top priority again with funding for roads.
Now, one quick question. What about grants for roads? Like, you know, USDA has that those grants out. Can you compete for that?
No, we can't. You got federal funding, then of course you got local funding, which would be for county roads. Right. The only funding we have, again, for county roads is your 7-cent gas tax.
That's it.
That's it.
So why not raise the gas tax?
Okay. Locally, we can't do it. That's the state.
I know.
State has to do it.
1901 state constitution.
That's right. And again, that was an attempt in the last legislative session to increase it by an addition 7%, we would increase it to 14%, and that was unsuccessful.
Right. Yeah. Because they look at what the price of gas, but gas has gone down since that time. Yes. Right.
But whether the gas goes up or down, it still will not affect what the county get off for the 7% gas tax. Okay. What affected is resident of Hale County purchasing gas in Tuscaloosa County
Right.
because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Tuscaloosa County is getting your money, then you still complain about getting the
Still
road.
complaining, right?
Right.
The same one that complained gonna go and get the gas, and you understand it because
Right.
you're looking for the lowest price
the
you
best
can
deal.
get.
Right.
So you understand it, but I say this: at least get it in Moundville. Yeah, because that's the cheapest for Hale County. You find that Moundville will be somewhere 3 to 4 cents different in Tuscaloosa.
Right.
Whereas here in Greensboro, it's average around 7 or 10 cents different between what you will find in Tuscaloosa.
If you could say anything to residents of Hale County about the future of the county headed, what would you say?
Oh, we're in a great position. We find ourselves 45 minutes traveling distance from Tuscaloosa, which is right about 42 miles. We are 20 miles from Greene County, Utah. We are 18 miles Marion, and we are 20 miles Uniontown, and 22 miles from Demopolis. So we sit in a hub, okay, which is pretty centralized. Major traffic traveling to Tuscaloosa, anywhere from coming down south, is going to come through Hale County.
Right.
Whether it come through Greensboro or not, if you take 5 or 25, you may skirt it, but you still going to come through Hale County. With the growth of the north, being Tuscaloosa, being Shelby, being Bill, Hale County is in a position to absorb because we got land. So eventually it's going to spread down. Right now, Tuscaloosa main focus is on rooftop, which you talk about housing, apartments to support the university.
Right.
So with business coming in, the industry coming in, they have to spread out. And so we're in that position to be able to absorb that and be in line to support either Mercedes plant or any other industry that coming in, with the hopeful and pray that 69 is improved
Right.
all the way down to 80, and that will open up the corridor even better.
All right. Well, thank you, Judge. That wasn't bad, was it?
That wasn't bad.
And thank you so much for your
Thank you
time,
for it.
and have a great day.
And you too.
Interview. I hope you guys do not forget to tune in next week. Also, don't forget to like on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. Portia Takes on the Black Belt. See you soon.
This is another Too Cool production.
Well, the kingdom is my business, but now this right here is personal. Kingdom is my business, but now this right here is personal.